Sierra Leone is a small country on the west coast of Africa with a population of over 7,500,000 people. The country is endowed with vast fertile lands with high agriculture and food security potentials, as well as a collection of huge mineral deposits. According to global standards, the country ranks at the very bottom of the United Nations Human Development Index 2019, being 182 out of 189 countries. By global standards also, Sierra Leone counts amongst the poorest countries in the world, with a vast majority of its citizens living under $1 United States dollar a day. This is not all. The country counts amongst the hungriest nations in the world, with a high infant and child mortality rate. Every human being has the right to adequate food and the fundamental right to be free from hunger, according to international human rights law. This is called the right to food for short. In 1999, at the World Food Summit, heads of states and government reaffirmed the right of everyone to have access to safe and nutritious food, consistent with the right to adequate food and the fundamental right of everyone to be free from hunger. The declaration of the World Food Summit, 5 years later, in June 2002, reaffirmed the importance of strengthening the respect of all human rights and fundamental freedoms and invited the FAO Council to establish an intergovernmental working group to develop a set of voluntary guidelines to support member states' efforts to achieve the progressive realization of the right to adequate food in the context of national food security. Over the years, the government of Sierra Leone has shown a certain commitment to ensuring food security in the country through the signing of international instruments or agreements and the creation of structures to fulfill its commitment.
Sierra Leone imports large quantities of rice every year to the tune costing about $200 to $300 million annually. That is politically not acceptable and economically unsustainable. Therefore, this government believes we have the potentials, we have all it takes to produce rice that we eat, that we consume, and that's the reason for resuscitating the Tomabom project, or simply called the Regional Rice Value Chain Project.
Despite these commitments, however, Sierra Leone faces an enormous challenge in the area of food security.
I get 3 portions of farmland. I do corn, when I maize, I do groundnut, I do potato, then with the main crop now rice. Some areas and we don't work there for quite a while now, so we're not that fertile. As we replenish them, we either we plant beans, we can able to add nutrients to the soil, or we wait for fertilizer, or we buy if we get the money.
Well, for the past 2 years, really, we get different harvests. Last year, where the rain be disappointing, where the rain ceased mid-October, we make the vegetable way we put up the hill where they expect for harvest early November. We planted last rains, they all spoil. Over 50 hectares of vegetable spoil. And then the rest themselves not been do very well because water shorting. This year now, the rain can't sufficient. Iboku, the rice then come out fine, the vegetable come out fine. The only constraint with the get panane like the rice, labor not there for harvesting. And even if you manage harvest for trash bag, the labor is really difficult. But when I rest, we manage with land.
It's difficult to get farmland now. Like this is my family land, and that reason they make I get an opportunity for get 3 sites there. Or else otherwise I'm not going to forget them. We big challenge we get na harvester. Most of the rest and left na bush, as you can see. We're not able to harvest all the rest. The 1 grain harvester we myself been get for this whole community, we can't get problem. We're not able to forget the parts in Sierra Leone. So now that is a big challenge this year. The other one na the manpower. Where if we not get chemical for weed, we need man them for let the weed. And in that process, there a lot of problem dem dey. Number one, dem no go do am properly. Number two, dem go root the rice from the bed. So a lot of things and they were a big challenge we need for the government see how it can do.
If actually we get somebody where they able for help put cold rooms, then where they say cold room, not a cold room for like fish, just one cold room where they maintain the temperature inside. If we get that kind of facility, then they not all inside Kabbalah, but like Freetown, where you go be big size, so that way you can go vegetable, you not able for selling, you get where you go store. Then at the end of the day, you will go get center where you go advertise, say, without wanting the vegetable can, you go get the fresh one from the farmers directly. Vegetable in price go reduce na the market, people then go begin eating, then we say we will grow back, we will be able for sell.
Well, I decided for this farming because I know there no other way where I able to spend money for support me picking there. So before I sit down so, I decided for do garden work. I dey contribute to the society. Most of rural districts Waterloo now we get the best plazas so they can go na Freetown where people and they eat. Now we get the fresh plazas.
When time reach for buy, I want buy big garden. La make big garden. La harvest boku, but we money no dey. I not dey able. Then two again, if I don't plant back, tumbu then come back. Inside 1 month, wait tumbu then come back. That tumbu medicine dey back for la get la buy. I want not get at the tumbu then they eat all the plazas. That time they now left back zero. Pass I begin fight and back before I able stand. Nobody no kaya one day. Then they can't tell we say then they can't help we. They know they help we. But we know say agriculture. If you then put our number to we naya. You see how the swamp big. You see how the place. Say go na so gardener. Na then they. But we no get help there. I will go before.
If you get place so big past this, would they glad you 100% for work day? Because now they would they get. You know they careless. You get a small size, you they work. Neither now will get big size. So they extend.
In the World Hunger Index 2018, Sierra Leone ranks 114 out of 119 countries. The hunger situation in the country is classified as very serious with 31.1%. In addition, the 2019 Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Analysis done by the World Food Programme (WFP) found that 49.8% of the total population, 59.7% of the rural population is food insecure, meaning that their consumption of food is insufficient to lead to a healthy and active life.
We've been able to identify the land area. We are doing 35,000 hectares of land in both Tomabom in the Bond district and Cambia in the northern region of the country. We are able to identify 7,000 farmers, the beneficiaries of this project, to work with. So we are able to do 1,000 hectares of rice last year, just as a pilot to understand the situation of these locations where we are implementing this project.
More than 1/5 of the population is malnourished, with children being mainly affected. Key factors of food insecurity include low agricultural productivity and lack of resilience, inadequate infrastructure, lack of access to land, lack of access to clean water and sanitation, lack of educational opportunities, low participation in government programs, lack of diversification of agricultural household income, and persistent gender inequality across the board. As if the hunger and malnutrition situation is getting from bad to worse, the April 2021 country brief issued by the World Food Programme (WFP) indicates that 57% of the country's population is estimated to be food insecure. The report also states that 31% of children below 6 to 59 months are facing chronic malnutrition.
Where some form they give you the mandate say they want to do collaboration and bringing people together. So now a multi-sector program, which means one great person is able for don't hungry at the country. The person will make the farm, is not able for don't hungry and don't malnutrition. What they talk about nutrition for eat well, balance the meal and everything, and they, if agriculture not produce, we don't talk no mean nothing. If them produce, we talk. The one then I wash. for let them get clean water and then say no work. The pikin then get diarrhea and dysentery. All that Boku talk in a waste of time. They will get diarrhea and die. If the mosquito net people are not cancer, health no cancer, for let malaria not catch them. No matter how all three work, if they not work, nothing no go happen. So we all they work together for make sure say we able to achieve the goal of reducing malnutrition and hunger. But the biggest thing we don't do, every one of the organizations there get a role for play and will make them into networks.
The situation has been compounded by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic that has brought more hardship on the populace. Measures put in place by the government to fight the spread of the virus, so restricting the movement of citizens, has further worsened the food security situation in the country. According to the Global Hunger Index Status Rating 2021, Sierra Leone ranks 106 out of 116 countries. Let's get the history of how the Right to Food campaign started in Sierra Leone and present food status in the country.
It all starts with the realization that all the rights campaign be more or less focused on civil and political rights in this country, and I think even at the global level, food or land rights, and nothing say even in the dictionary of this country. Nobody they talk about anything like that in this country. But today, we get people we really and organizations we don't take up the campaign, we they do the campaign at national level, and it draw attention from the people we for pay attention to this campaign.
The reason why we developed the Right to Food project, now we're able to promote the realization of the right to food in Sierra Leone. And we developed the project 2 years ago in partnership with Community Media Network and with support from the German government and World Hunger Health, WHH. And the desire of the project now for first and foremost to ensure we create the required awareness around right to food issues, because if people then therefore claim the right to food and therefore first and foremost understand food na right, and then therefore get the right information and knowledge around right to food.
The concern of the government is we should go out and sensitize the public so that they see right to food in the constitution not as a right to hand out, but as a means by which government is going to give the enabling environment to the community so that they will be able to produce food for themselves. They give them the ability also to know what is the right and wrong, what is the right food they for eat, at what time they for eat. So those are the things where the government may try for see also.
About the right to food, a human right and a constitutional right, we actually mean then thing in the way for happen or way for day, way for make people and get adequate access to food for day. It really not mean when they talk about the right to food, na a way that government na aim for go take food and can put on a people and table for it. That's not to the thing. This also means people then really need for raise awareness about this whole process. We don't start from 2015.
Some political parties, they include land rights and the food aspects into their manifestos. So the awareness is already there, and at some point people then don't start for they make demands. Silnov and one or two other organizations, they even try for campaign now for a right to food law in this country. So this is how far the campaign don't go.
One of the key outcomes then we hope for achieve through this project now for get a right to food law. And we know if we get a right to food law, it will be a very big step for we in achieving right to food, in realizing the right to adequate food in Sierra Leone.
Before that, they would already engage the Constitutional Review Committee, and they are giving us the green light for make we actually put together a position paper. So we come together and put that position paper, and that position paper we validate and we brought together the people from the communities. The draft position paper will be come out, the right to food being inside it.
If you talk about the right to food, access to land now one of the key elements inside that. If somebody for go produce, if somebody for go doing farming, they get access to land for go farm, and that no mean say na people then get for go find the land for you. But whether the land available and how you go able to negotiate them in a way favorable. Because if you're a farmer, you're in a business you're doing your farming, you're able to produce and sell and make profit. Now the country, I mean, we get about 72,000 square kilometers of land. And out of that land there, we have the surface land, we get about 54% we now agricultural land. But also about that 54% there, now only from the 2018 data, about 29.1% of that, they under utilization. When an arable land, and we mean say the one where people and they use for produce crop and agricultural related products for the country, and even the one where then they export.
The policy on the right to food should follow the 7 pattern principles. 1. Participation. 2. Accountability. 3. Non-discrimination. 4. Transparency. 5. Human dignity. 6. Empowerment. 7. The rule of law.
For this community, we say we this, so we say we born. Now we born. The way they live now, not so we live. First time when they live now, fine. We call the banga, we sell pamai. But this other coming, we don't count now. The paramount chief face come. It just can't tell we say, and they bring coming now. But they agree. We say we don't come up here, but when we say like other coming in there, that's what this is. The paramount chief say, when they come, and they can do arrangements. After the arrangements, if you agree, you send your own place. If you not agree, you know seller. So what you can see now, passport see people then come with 2 truck. Police then they say, flop the truck. They say, Natala, do color them face cam. Past 1 week they go, we see my she come, begin to put with plantations.
To me, your understanding the current situation about food, business at this chiefdom presently, it look strange small because the kind way we've been the expect for food security then at this place, not to that kind way as a councillor at the expect. But within this 1 year, 1 or 2 years, we've been able to get WFP with encounter with aid. We then say, then they try for let we able plant some rest now and then swamp them.
First step, people they plant cassava, petese, this nyamsia, bench, but down in the bush now they will not get bush. We not get bush for plant nothing. We don't no more fight for plant pepper. Mama will not get. Look the farm. That's where they are. So they see the Banga farm.
So the people then what they represent, are they really feel them for them because I go once made them all them things and they made them go day in place. Because when we people then get food, all things go even 6 go away from them. So now me concerned and they greatly.
We want to get with freedom. And then give we right say all the rights when the first come and this chip now we get right forget them. Then the money when they give people then say then they bring money can for post they want when they don't carry each. We name not the day. It's like you go register, then they give. Because then say you be don't say you know the same bush. So you know they get no nothing you don't get her. The paramount chief they stop her. You know you give nothing.
Something where the money the grass don't begin sorting presently, and again the farm then done the boku. And we not able to get thing the way they make fence so that we go able to guide with cow then at the area there. Because now if we left the cow then chop on all day, then they go na people then farm. And then the bag will become kiss. Every day we deal with kiss. So even for men the cow then now it will become very expensive for we. First time it cheap because when you check the how been they get the cow then at the other side and at the country they been cheap. But now since that exchange rate where they can go money for buy other cow then add pan we own at the other country then they find out say the money where they pull now it double or thrice the amount will be in the pool trade for buy that cow day. And that transport will be in the pay trade back, you don't add. If they find out say before they reach two side they go sell now free to any other side, they find out say the price don't add, better one. The intervention of government, it able intervene, the poor people then go able eat. Simple reason is that most of the things then, like a medicine, then they able buy for some people they way in a cattle rearers, where some of them then cattle been done die through some sickness and other things then they able get them enough. Then go, the poor people, the price go less because that's how the old man don't involve himself. Then they go lead them for them go they get meat once on a while.
The rural population is often inadequately informed about land lease processes and are rarely consulted, which has a negative impact on the access to arable land, adequate consumption and food security.
The kind way we be fishing, not to say again, now fish don't sky. And the run even go the pump fuel for go na sea for go fishing because we na 3 days we go take na sea. It is up 3 days. It is at times it decide 1 week for go fishing because you know easy inside our fishing all day again.
No way we tell you the price of fish right now because you not get stagnant price now on and off. No, I tell you Kimboku, I tell you not Kimbo. So where Boku, you get your price. Where not they get your price. I tell you what to make that they can be. Sometimes you don't buy with fuel. They pass where the boat gonna see. If you're not fishing, who said the fat fellow they pass come out.
The thing that they go na see is plenty, and we go with ice. And ice problem, it came on away. We not get ice plants na pass na water na tow then we can count ice for week. And the bag we buy 25,000 for bag. We can go with 40 bag ice. So the fuel look and fuel we go with around at times we can go with 150 liter. So if you go count 2 rubber, 3 rubber, you know easy collect the pass the way from.
If the fish can boku, the price it can down. But if you normally fish no day, the price can dey up. At the bank for make I able get me own. Now quickly at the sell. So now I can buy the fish. The people like is satisfied.
Civil society and the media have played a crucial role in monitoring these processes in the development of the new land policy and in the adoption of the FAO, Vulnerable Guidelines on the Responsible Governance of Tenure of Land, Fisheries and Forestries, VGGT, and the FOA Vulnerable Guidelines to support the gradual implementation of the right to appropriate food in the context of national food security. The shared vision of Comnet and Silnof is a ceremony where every human being has sufficient and adequate food and fully exercises their rights to food. Its goals are defined by its strong network aimed at contributing to people's awareness of the rights to adequate food as defined by the FAO and interpreted by the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the Rights to Food, RTF. Together, the network promotes the proactive participation of civil society in policy making and seeking to use evidence-based lobbying and advocacy to ensure constructive dialogue and engagement with relevant stakeholders for the effective and efficient implementation of the rights to food in Sierra Leone.
Why they come buy the yam, so they charge you that 150 for rubber. They will buy that 200,000. Sunday they charge 250, 300. They meet up that 300, 200. So for the buy, they charge you, they sell the one they sell at 30. For more get the 2,000. Who spend 2,000 those profits there.
The places they go buy, na para they para. They go buy na bush. 20,000. That's what they pay. The places now, the now 20,000.
They pay transport for car, 8,000, so now they pay for car. So they meet up 7,000. If you go and buy load, you go at 25, you they pay. That 30 now they pay for go now if you get load. Sunday you can get 10,000, Sunday at 15,000 now you can
get a profit in money. Sometimes I the profit 10,000.
The rights to food over the years has not been very much achieved by successive governments. Malnutrition is at all-time high in this country. That tells you that food is a major component of our existence as a country, as a population. A project like this in place, the right to food, is certainly a way to go.
So a lot more there inside this process of the right to food, which people really need to understand. And it requires massive advocacy, sensitization, and awareness raising for let people then really understand the process. Because until people don't understand them, the government side are able to understand, the citizens are able to understand, then this bill will come into law for enactment.